And good morning. We're momentarily late because, well, I was running my mouth and I didn't look at the clock. My apologies. Good morning. It is Monday, December the 8th. Let's not forget what yesterday was, December the 7th, when Pearl Harbor was attacked. We weren't on the air yesterday to talk about that a lot, but we need to remember things that happened in our nation's history. That was a big, big deal yesterday. We are headed toward Christmas. Can you believe this? December the 8th already. Right now we're sitting at somewhere around 46 degrees. We could have warmed up to about 47 now. We're only expecting a high of about 52 today. Expect clouds for the majority of the day. By late afternoon, it should break and get a little sunshine in here. We're hoping. Now, we do have some cooler weather coming toward the weekend. We'll tell you all about that when we get into weather. Let's go down to Collinsville and get our first taste of a good word of the day. Collinsville First Baptist.
The Advent season continues, that ancient tradition of preparing our hearts to celebrate the birth of Christ at Christmas. We now move into the second week whose theme is peace. And that'll be our focus all week here at Change Begins in You. When God promised a Prince of Peace in Isaiah 9:6, Israel was anything but peaceful. They were divided, under threat, facing judgment. And into that darkness, God spoke a promise so specific. It named the child before his birth, Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. Now that wasn't a vague hope for better days. God was announcing a person, a ruler whose very identity would be peace. The promise came with a recipient already named. This child would be born to us, given for us. 7 centuries before Bethlehem, God had already decided who would benefit from the peace, namely you and I and all who receive Jesus. The title Prince of Peace, it wasn't just poetic language. Isaiah continues in verse 7, of the greatness of his government and peace, there will be no end. So this wasn't temporary relief or just political stability. This was eternal, unshakable peace. Peace with God, peace within ourselves, peace that transforms how we live with others. And when the angels announced Jesus' birth with these words, peace on earth, they were declaring that God's ancient promise had finally arrived. The waiting was over. Peace is here because Jesus is here. So this Advent, remember, the peace you long for isn't wishful thinking. It's a promise God made reality in Bethlehem and extends to the entire world. And that includes you. And the only question is, will you receive it? May you be blessed this Advent season. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And welcome. I hope you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I hadn't heard that saying in a whole long time. Real long time.
Memories.
Press between the pages. What was that Elvis song? Memories. Good morning. It is a chilly morning as we start. I've got the heat blowing somewhere in here. I turned off the fireplaces. It got a little bit warm. Make sure to have yours on. Take care that we've got colder weather in the forecast. So make sure you got plenty of gas and everything is set up if you live on the rural route. If you live on the inside, make sure your heating units are working. And of course, our friends at Environment Masters can help you with that. If you need any type of help, they'll come fix all that for you. Make sure to have that checked out. As we begin today, he's probably really going to make them mad over this. Let me get what his name when he was hers name. That makes sense to anybody? Did I confuse you?
Yeah.
The guy that used to be Admiral, he was listed as Admiral Rachel Levine, head of the Public Health Corps in America. And you know how they'll list the pictures of previous heads.
Yeah.
The name's been changed. Let me go ahead and change you exactly what President Trump has done. He has absolutely changed this back to Richard, because they do not recognize the transgender movement that was sweeping our nation. And, well, y'all fill in the blanks. I'm just telling you how it is. But they're upset as Trump makes these changes throughout our nation. I support it. I'll be honest about that. What else do we have going on this morning? You remember the bar we talked about that was giving free beer to anybody that turned in, anybody that was here illegally? He says he's getting death threats, but he ain't backing down. Turn him in, you'll get a free beer for a month. He's sticking to his guns. We have a construction company that is saying that for the first time in at least 4 years, they're having applicants show up and actually want to work now. Americans. Imagine that. Taking those out that aren't American citizens, well, Americans have to go to work then. We're getting a lot of that there in Louisiana. This is one of those, and we brought this up when it first happened, but this guy has been sentenced to jail. He is going to spend 9 months in jail. He was on a job in West Texas. This could easily happen. Left one site to go to another site on the job and accidentally crossed the border in his pick-em-up truck. Didn't know it. He was pulled over and didn't realize he was in Mexico. Did have a legal handgun from the United States. They didn't hear of it. He was sentenced to 9 months in jail, and no one can seem to get him out. Will Trump step in? I don't know. But they say it's one of the worst prisons that you can be in Mexico. Be careful if you're ever near the border. There's a lot of people that work here locally that go to West Texas and South Texas to work. Y'all be careful when you're that close to those folks. Let's see here. At the southern border, what happened? I've never thought of this. Criminals are creative. And I know there's a lot of law enforcement that watches. They're going to go, well, we see that all the time. That's not shocking to us. But at the border, you know, I can remember as a kid, we went to Tijuana, crossed the border, and came back in. It was something like I'd never seen. They check your car when you go back through. On inspection of this particular car, in the spare tire, of all places, 23 weapons were recovered, all stacked inside the tire and then blown back up. Huh. Pretty clever. They were busted, though. One of the guns that were listed in the weapons was what they call the cop gun, the bad one. My, oh my. Over in Australia, starting next Monday, it will be illegal for anyone under the age of 16 for social media. You have to be 16 in Australia. Government getting way too deep into families. Now again, there's nothing wrong with you telling your child that, but having a government tell you that you can't do that is another thing, or at least in my opinion. I talk about this with caution because I don't know everything there is to know about this. Joe Rogan, y'all know who I'm talking about? I think at one time he may have been an atheist, and then I heard that he was a Christian. He's made a statement that I don't exactly understand what he meant, and I'll word it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When someone makes a statement, you don't know how to interpret it. He has a Jesus theory, and let me explain this. And I don't know if he is doing this, saying this in like tongue in cheek, or if he's for real. But he is talking about AI with everything that is going on with this. And he says artificial intelligence could absolutely return as Jesus. Not just return as Jesus, but return as Jesus with all the powers of Jesus, like all the magic tricks, all the ability to bring people back from the dead, walk on water, levitation, water into wine, Rogan claimed. Again, I don't know if he's being tongue-in-cheek on this or if he's fell for this. Now, does AI have capabilities that we're scared of? It absolutely does, and it will grow and grow and learn more and more as it goes about. But I don't know what he really meant by that. I don't know him well enough to understand that. If he believes that, then that's a serious issue there. There's number one. And he could have just been pointing out how AI could get out of hand. Let's hope that that's what that meant. That's where I went with that, and I danced around it the best I could explain it. Georgia Power, as we talk about AI, well, they're into a discussion. They're not sure what to do because the demand for more power is so big for all of these data centers. Do they build more to have more power? It's a growing concern. It will cost $15 billion to build more. Now, should these things go under, guess who would be stuck with the bill? That would be you. We'll let you know when we hear what Georgia decides about that. Yeah, power plants, yeah. It had to be tough, wouldn't it? Yeah, we got one local there. Kind of upped your bills and got nasty, didn't it? Anybody been to Yukon, Alaska? Over the weekend, a 7.0 earthquake was felt. Now, no injuries are being reported because it's just too cold up there. There's not many people in that area. But there was an earthquake. Thankfully, everybody was okay. Now, here's the depressing news of this morning. Mississippi is right at the top, and it ain't good for us. Life expectancy in America, we have the least of anybody, y'all. 70.9 are right at 71 years old is the best they say you can get out of Mississippi. Now, me and Odie actually know people who are a lot older than this that live in the great state of Mississippi, but they're saying on average, the average death in Mississippi is 71. The highest is Hawaii. Everybody drives Ferraris and have helicopters, don't they? That's what it is. 79, almost 80 is the life expectancy of Hawaii. But Mississippi at number one on the worst side. Let's see who else joins us there. West Virginia, Alabama, Louisiana, and Kentucky. Oh, all low-income states. Because we know we got to get some work boots on and go to work, I guess. You work yourself to death. But keep that in mind. That is what they're saying. Rosie's whining again. She really misses America, but just can't come to grips with her dislike for Donald. I truly don't understand that of anybody. If you've got somebody that bothers you that bad, you need a hobby. Something that takes your mind off of it than sitting all day in a room and thinking on that one subject. She's got problems. And she really, really dislikes Donald so much that she moved away. And now she's in misery. And they probably don't want her over there. But seriously, take up woodworking or something. Do something creative. You could even donate yourself to charity. Do you know how many people need extra hands? And if you'd done all that, you wouldn't have time to worry about what Donald was doing, would you?
Donate her body to science.
But, seriously, there's Salvation Army. There are so many organizations that need people. Even at hospitals, I don't know if they still have the candy stripers, but there's always a place in a town that you can help out. You'll end up in a bad place hating someone that much. Bless her heart. Now, this next guy, I don't know at all. And I meant to look him up before I talked about this, but some amazing things are going with this. 2 years ago in 2023, there was a preacher in Atlanta. His congregation was 200. Done his best to get his audience up. It didn't work. He said he quit worrying about it, and now people are lining up at 5 a.m. to get a seat. His church will hold 6,000, and they're standing in line to be first to get a seat in the pew.
Wow.
And there are younger people that are showing up for this. Philip Anthony Mitchell is his name. I've got to look this up, but average of 6,000 people lined up to hear him preach. And you know why they say it's working? He's not a feel-good preacher. He doesn't make you feel good about God. He preaches what's in the Bible. And I think his music leans a little bit to the younger generation of the church music. I haven't heard it, but that's amazing. I'm glad for him. And you also have, what's his face over there that I like so much? The other preacher that's from Atlanta that has two churches. And I'll think of it in a minute. I just went blank. But he has a big church there. Golly, how'd I forget? I listen to him all the time. But good to have people wanting to get into church. Let's see what else we have. The only thing I know about this is I watched Young Guns. They were sitting on top of a rock, and they all went out and got some mushrooms, and next thing you know, they couldn't walk. They're warning people in California, quit picking mushrooms. They're deadly. Do people really go do this? I do go out and get mushrooms and cook them or smoke them. I don't know what they do with them, but they're warning you not to do this because some of them are deadly. There's poisoning in them, and I ain't never had the urge to go out and go, Odie, jump in the truck with me. We're going to get some mushrooms. Bring a sack.
No.
Penn State has hired a new coach, Matt Campbell. He's got an 8-year deal. Huh. Okay. Were they any good last year?
I don't know if they were or not.
They're so good, Odie, you don't even know who the coach is now.
Exactly.
Out in California, we're seeing this happen a lot, especially California, companies that have been there forever and a day. Howard Appliance, they've been there for almost 80 years, 79 years. They're closing their doors in California. So they just couldn't afford to keep going. And there's a lot of concern. People said, wait a minute, I had something ordered. Am I still going to get it? And I put some money down. I don't have the answer to that. I go to Virginia next, and a job I'm glad I don't have. This would happen late Thursday afternoon. Imagine if the only work you could gain, you're scared of heights like me, and you had to go clean windows for a living. I ain't saying I wouldn't do it if I had to feed my family. I'm just saying I wouldn't do it willingly. They're on the scaffold, 80 stories up. And guess what happens?
Oof.
What do you call the little thing that goes up and down, the window cleaning, whatever that little platform went sideways, and he was holding on, and people inside the window were videoing as the fire department shimmied down the building on ropes and rescued him. It would have been ugly if that was me. I ain't scared to scream.
They'd have heard you, huh?
They would have known. They wouldn't even need to call 911. Man, that terrifies me thinking about it. And I even had to close my eyes to watch the video to it. I'm not going to do that to y'all. I couldn't sit through it twice. Woof, that's tough, y'all. Headed to the Supreme Court, they've agreed to listen as the Supreme Court will decide upon birthright citizenship case. Rump-row. One side or the other is going to be upset after that judgment is passed on. We'll let you know as soon as we do. Crayola, you know those? They've got these little magnetic cube toys. They're voluntarily recalling them. Now, they're sold in Michael's and also on Amazon. The magnets on the back are coming out. Kids are swallowing them. If you've bought some, return them to Michael's or Amazon. They'll give you your money back on that. They're voluntarily doing that. That's good there. Let's see here. You know, we often talk about how good America is as we look at Hong Kong making news here. What if I said I didn't like Donald Trump's hair, or if I said I didn't like Biden's teeth or something, and you made a post about it and you got arrested? Hong Kong, there was a guy, you remember the fire that claimed, what was 140 lives?
Yeah.
He made a post that the government didn't do their job. They arrested him. There is not a such thing as free speech in other countries. Not all of them anyway. One should be very happy to live in a country where you can criticize. We're fortunate. Uh-oh. Anybody like to hunt bear? They've got their first season in 10 years in Florida. You can hunt black bear in Florida. If you're watching from Florida, sign up today. Odie came in, and I know he was thinking, what's going on? I mean, it was so bad, I had to run back and turn on Amarillo by Morning, Unwound, Foolhardy Memory, just to wash it and make myself feel better. I ain't never heard of this. Now, I know who Aerosmith is. Don't get me wrong. I've never heard of Youngblood, and I know who Lainey Wilson is. But they said they recorded this magnificent song together, and I thought, well, I should listen to that. I did. It scared me. It's bad. So I had to find George Strait to get my mind clean before we done the show. Man, it was... I understand other people like other genres of music than me. But man, it wasn't good. Not to me, anyway. Find you a George Strait song today. It'll make you feel good about yourself. We'll be right back with the weather in just a moment.
Fix our problem.
Hey, Ben, did you approve this?
What? Tax credit match, double your savings. Who did this? Where did this come from?
Ben, I really love the new promo.
Come with me. Hey. Who do you think you are? Oh, Annie, it's you. Where did this all go out to?
Our whole service area.
As the seasons change, so do your clothes. And Garrett Sports Center on 8th Street has exactly what you need. Habo shirts, long and short sleeve. Also Hulk shirts. and America's favorite brand, Carhartt. Whether you need work pants or slacks for church, and nothing lasts like a pair of Carhartt overalls. Maybe it's a set of boots that you need to keep you dry in those wet conditions. And as hunting season rolls in, they have all the camouflage you need and toboggans to boot. Garrett Sports Center, 3505 8th Street, Meridian.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA.
And welcome back as we get into our weather forecast this morning. We'll get into the radar and some temperatures in just a moment. As we start looking at our record highs and record lows of today, back in 78, it was 81. 1964, it was a cool 17 degrees this morning. As we move forward to look at today's high, 52 here in Meridian. We'll see 50 in Philadelphia. But as you get into Winston County, Louisville, you're going to be tempting those 40s as you go all the way to the state line. We'll see 44 at Iuka. We'll see over in South Haven, there in Tunica, around 42 today. Down through Natchez, we'll see 52 like Meridian, and warmer on the Mississippi Gulf Coast with a high of about 57. Now, tonight's low for the great state of Mississippi. Y'all get ready for this. I got to get some cars back in my garage. As we look at this, tonight's low in Meridian, 28 below freezing. We'll see 27 Philadelphia, and we'll see that all the way through Louisville as we get to Tupelo. Pretty much it's 27 north of Meridian. That tells me that pipes could freeze. Have you got any antifreeze up in your car? You might want to put a little bit. Check that out. Even in Greenville, Mississippi, where it's freezing as we get down to Natchez, the same, and a cool 37 on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. As we see what's happening here in Tuscaloosa, 52. Demopolis will see 53, and cooler in Birmingham at 50 for today's high. Now, this is what we've got there. It's way warmer out in California, New Mexico, and those areas, but not in Mississippi. As we take a look at our 7-day forecast, again, 27 for a low tonight. Somebody grab a Carhartt. Some logs for the fire. 52 for a high today. We'll get down to 35 tomorrow night with a high of 56 tomorrow. As we move toward the weekend, it's going to get even colder there. By Thursday, we're still okay. The change starts hitting about Friday. 56 for a high, down to 26 on Friday night. 24 on Saturday night, and even Sunday is going to be about the same as that. As we move into this, we'll start seeing temperatures warm back up by Monday there. 56, 40 overnight. We should hang around that 30 to 40 outlook all the way through December the 22nd. But some cold weather for tonight and toward the weekend. Be prepared for that. Make sure that you've got all your ducks in a row there. And let me put this where you can see that once again. There you go. Through December 22nd. As we look at our fishing times for today, what's going on with Parker Wholesale? Well, major times to fish today is this afternoon around 2:43 until right at dark there at 5. The only other time we've got about an hour's worth there at 9:30. You could go try some fishing. Wind's going to be north 10 to 15 with gusts as high as 20 miles an hour today. Chilly. What's happening on the deer stand side of things? We've got an average day of hunting. If you had to pick yours, this is down the middle of the road. Now, north wind, again, those gusts up to 20 miles an hour makes it perfect for a shoot house today. Major times to hunt this afternoon is 2:41 through 4:41 right at dark. You've got another time from 10 till 11 that you can try a minor time. Sunrise happened at 6:43. Sunset rolls in at 4:49 this afternoon. Take a look at live radar and see what we've got here. Nothing going on in the great state of Mississippi as we look at Doc's Toyota radar. Off to our far east, we'll see a little bit of fog there around Douglasville. We'll see some there at Savannah. And we got showers as you get into the Carolinas and Asheville. Knoxville even has a little bit of rain. Kentucky, up north of Bowling Green, Louisville, we got snow. I bet that sure is pretty with all those farmhouses and fences and horses around Louisville. Always beautiful. If you happen to be that way, let us know. Even Charleston, West Virginia, look at the snow here. Moving into Richmond, Virginia, across Roanoke. It's going to be pretty weather up there. I even saw a picture of the White House. They had the first snow of the year this week. Beautiful there in Washington, D.C. when all that happens there. We're already at 6:57. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back live with the morning show. So much to talk about of what went on over the weekend. We'll tell you that and more coming up at the top of the hour at the Scotty Ray Report.